As we speak, I'm sitting in my cozy living room. I feel at peace. I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I'm excited about what lies ahead. But it didn't start like this. When I look back to the time we recorded episode 1 of Project Dream Mastery Show, I remember how anxious I was, how I wasn't sure if people will enjoy it, if hell, even if there's going to be a single listener. Um, but I pushed past my comfort zones then to be where I am now. And the truth be told, from my own experience, I feel like to truly define yourself, you must push past your comfort zones. So take a moment to embrace this while we roll the intro.
Welcome to the home of Project Dream Mastery. Here at PDM, we are challenging the status quo of what it means to follow your dreams and how to unlock the power those dreams will bring to your life. The show experience will be unscripted, authentic, and transparent. So now, sit back, relax, and get inspired with your hosts, Lucas Johnson and Patryk Labuzek.
Welcome to another episode of Project Dream Mastery. My name is Lucas Johnson.
And I'm Patryk Labuzek. Let's start this episode with the following notion. The only thing that stops us from reaching our own potential is our head. See, I like to think, Lucas, that our brain is this massive house. And within it, we create many, many rooms, right? So these rooms being our comfort zones. And unfortunately, the truth is, to go from one room to another, we must cross through a door, some kind of boundary. We must push past these comfort zones to reach our desired location within this house, right? And within this house that is a brain. So we can't really define ourselves, become happy, learn what it truly means to love deeply, and reach our dreams without pushing through our various comfort zones. So Lucas, going back to what I said right before the intro, how did you feel before and during recording of the very first episode of Project Dream Mastery? And how has this changed to what you feel now? Like, did you have to cross any of your comfort zones to get where you are at this very minute?
Oh my goodness, man. That is a phenomenal question. First off, I want to start with this. We don't ask ourselves that question enough. We get to the point where we are, and then we're like, oh, all right. What do I actually have to do to get there? I don't know. It just amazes me that that's the question you're asking to start the show off. It just got me pumped up. Yes. Simply yes. I had to overcome, I think, one of our biggest struggles in life, and that is not only imposter syndrome, not confidence necessarily, but what people think of me, my reputation, and who I am as a person. Once I was able to unlock all three of those and define who I am as a person, my purpose, the reputation part just kind of subsided. When we started the show, man, oh my goodness, I am just as excited now as I was when I first started that with you. And I cannot wait to see where we continue to go. I mean, we're top 50% of all podcasts in the world right now. And it's just mind blowing to see just in the last 6 months that status has happened, even with the 4-week break. Everyone needs a little holiday hiatus, huh? So, I mean, to answer your question, yeah. And I am grateful for every single second and every single day I've spent with you, the countless hours that have went into this moment right here. And our guest, oh my goodness, the guest appearances we've had so far, oh my goodness, they have shed so much wisdom on my life. How about you? Like, what's going through your head right now? I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, like this entire topic, I'm super pumped about it. And we mentioned it, in the last episode, comfort zones, that they stop us. It's only our head that limits us. And it's those comfort zones that we must get past to achieve our full potential. I mean, I feel like we don't really know who we truly are until we exceed our boundaries. Like, for example, how do you know that you don't like pineapple until you taste it?
It's an interesting point, but I also like to say I like pineapple on my pizza. So judge me if you want.
Yeah, but you know what I mean here? Like, how do we know that we don't like something until we've actually tried it?
Putting pineapple on your pizza is a perfect example. I never liked pineapple on my pizza till I tried it. And I was really uncomfortable with pineapple on my pizza. Come on. I grew up in kind of an Italian kind of feel. I ate pizza at least once a week. Hell, I was a doughboy when I was in football days. I ate so much. I ate so many dumplings. I had so much pizza. And when I put pineapple on that pizza was when I was like, oh man. And I bit into it and I put a little bit of garlic seasoning on top. Oh my goodness gracious. Give me some more.
I remember the garlic aioli we had in New Zealand and Australia, man. That was some incredible stuff.
That was unlocking a comfort zone for me as well. Is holy cow, dipping sauce for pizza? People like ranch and spices and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, pizza's supposed to be good on its own. No, I guess I was wrong. Because holy cow. All right. This isn't a foodie show. Let's get into the meat of what it means to unlock your comfort zone. Let's get into the meat.
So yeah, it's definitely safe to say that as something as little as trying pineapple on pizza is a comfort zone that we pass through. And we learned that, okay, fine. I like pineapple on pizza. And this goes back to everything in our lives. I mean, how can we say that this is me, Patryk, without me having to go through and past my comfort zones? Like, how did I learn that I love traveling so much if I didn't take that first step out of my house? If I didn't take that first flight without my parents, without my family into another country, and then pushed it to another continent, to a country that doesn't speak my language, to a country with completely different culture and beliefs than my own.
One thing that amazes me is people invest thousands of dollars into coaching just to get that question answered. And I am all for that. Like we talked about in a previous episode about upgrading you instead of everything else. Investing in someone else to coach you to get to that point where you're comfortable is insanely valuable. But taking that first step and that first leap, that first bound to step on that tarmac, to step on that airplane. And when you finally arrive, oh my goodness, that is a significant milestone in your life. And it's become such an important concept here at Project Dream Mastery because one, it's applicable to us, but it's also relevant to everyone staying at home right now due to COVID. People are now developing more of a reliance on technology. They're relying on more of their people and their surroundings virtually, that they might not necessarily be able to grasp that concept of what it feels like to step on another place or go to another island or go to another country. So we get uncomfortable being comfortable or comfortable being uncomfortable. I don't know where I am right now. How about you? Are you feeling a little uncomfortable?
What a question.
Can I make you feel a little uncomfortable right now?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Patty, when we met, I checked out your Facebook, and I'm sure you did the same.
Right.
I made sure to make all my photos private before I went into the job interview process, which we talked about in Project Job Interview. But I also made sure that people could only see what I wanted them to see. Not that I was scared of people were judging me or anything. It was just because we all have things that we don't want everyone in the world to see anymore. We want to keep some of our life private. And even though it's not bad, it's just things that you want to have that are your memories. And you don't want other people to be a part of that. You want them to have a little bit of mystery. I checked on Patty's Facebook when we first met. And one thing I saw is all these photos of him on a sidebar. He's got him karate, and he's got some of the places he's been. And I was like, all right, well, I don't really know this guy. I go, but based off the photos, I go, maybe he could hurt me, or maybe, this guy, I'm not sure. Maybe he's weird. And you'll learn that we love weird people. We love being weird because we're weird ourselves on the show. But I was like, all right. In that point in my life, I was still trying to figure out what that weird concept was. What do we have now, Patty? A best friend, brothers from another mother. It's crazy, right? I was a bit uncomfortable getting to first go meet you. And then there was this thing called beer, and it just changed our lives.
Completely. I mean, thinking back to it, I've taken the biggest leap in my life when I came to Australia. The biggest possible leap in my life. I don't think ever. I mean, never say never, right? But I really, truly think that I'm not going to make such a leap again. Like, that was groundbreaking. I mean, many of our friends came to Sydney knowing exactly where they're going to stay on day one. They might have new people in Australia beforehand. Maybe they had relatives, or, a friend from your college that went.
Not Patryk at all.
Yeah. No, I arrived in Sydney, Australia after a 24-hour flight through Abu Dhabi from Dublin. I have landed. And I was like, okay, where'd they go? I didn't have an accommodation booked. I knew no one. Didn't have an Australian phone number. Didn't have internet. The only thing I could rely on was the Wi-Fi at the airport. Where'd they go? I've never been here before. At least people spoke English and I could understand what they said. So that was a big help. That's for sure. So I completely stepped out of my comfort zone. Completely. I mean, unbelievable, right?
On day one, didn't you also come to the beach on your first day there and met us? You didn't even go. You're like, I arrived, guys. Let's go.
No. I arrived. I rented out a locker at the airport, put my luggage there, went straight to the beach. I mean, I knew Sydney has great beaches. I mean, who hasn't heard of Bondi? And I was like, look, I may be jet lagged. I have spent 24 hours in a plane. I'm stressed out to some extent. But I asked myself, what did I come here to do? I came here to enjoy my life, to enjoy my 20s, to meet new people, to explore the other side of the world. What do? Take a taxi to the beach.
Life's scary, though. Life is so scary. You did that, though.
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I did it. I mean, that's a story I'm going to tell my kids, my grandkids. I mean, it impacted my life in this gigantic way. I became a different person, and it's not cliche to say that. I actually did. Like, not everyone goes to the other side of the world completely by themselves, not knowing anyone or what's going on or where they're going, and just like land there, I've seen this in movies. I would never believe it myself until I actually did it. I experienced it. But what I did was went to the beach, had a great time, went for a swim because my second name is Aquaman. Went out, loved the weather in Sydney. And I thought, well, what can I do? I mean, what can I do? Like, how do I find accommodation here? I called my cousin, right? Called my cousin because I knew that she has a big network of friends, a big network of just people she knows. And she was like, hold on a second. I actually have a friend from college that lives in Sydney. I was like, okay, sounds interesting. She hit me up with him, called him. He's like, man, no problem. Come over, sleep on my couch. Not a bother. You can find the key underneath the plant, whatever, outside the door. Just go in, feel at home. And that's what I did. So, comfort zones. I mean, one, I crossed the entire globe together. That was one out of comfort thing for me. Two, I've literally connected with a person I had no idea existed in this world. And he was so kind to provide accommodation for the 2-3 days at the start in Sydney. But the comfort zone was to actually reach out to that person. You know what I mean?
Wow.
To reach out to a stranger and ask for help. I've always been taught to don't ask for help.
Stranger danger.
stranger danger, one thing, but two, don't ask for help. I mean, you can do whatever by yourself. Just learn. But I mean, at this point in time, I always was pushing for that. I never asked for help in college. As hard as it was, I've just spent the time trying to get things done, another project completed, and that. Never asked for help before until that point. So it was a boundary that I had to cross. I mean, it might seem as an easy thing for you to hear, but if think about, going to my shoes and think what it meant and the gigantic leap out of my comfort zone I had to take. But the moral of the story is going outside those multiple comfort zones and every other comfort zone as I was in Australia. I developed. I'm not afraid to travel to, let's say, Japan tomorrow and live there in Kyoto. No problem. I mean, I did it once. I'm going to do it again. The question is when it happens. And I mean, I'm talking about myself a lot. How about yourself, Lucas? I mean, like, it was a giant leap for you as well. Like, I'm pretty sure you had to get outside of your comfort zone. And I mean, you did.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but it wasn't to that extent in that fashion. I mean, going back to the topic for today is to truly define yourself, you must push past your comfort zones. And you clearly did that. Incredible, man. It was an incredible journey for us. I mean, you spent a lot of time at my place and Darling Harbor there, which was amazing, but we learned a lot from each other. And you taught me about pushing past my comfort zones. And I knew from day one that we would be best friends. And then we met Eric, and then that came to fruition. And like our group, our tribe, I can name every single person that's made an impact in my life there. But you, on the other hand, made an incredible impact with me. And that's one of the reasons why we started Project Dream Mastery is we continue to push those boundaries and those expectations, but also unlock our own comfort zones and go past them, defy them. For me, it wasn't the fact that I was traveling to a different country. I mean, yes, it was great. And the plane, I think, was kind of scary too. But for me, going by myself on my own without my parents was kind of the first time ever. I've done it before with groups and stuff, but I've never been to another country by myself without them. And that was scary. But for me, I've always been a people person. I've always knew how to build relationships and build networks. Hell, we made friends, an entire group of friends in a matter of 2 weeks. And those became, we had 100 or something when we first started and went down to 45 and then 30. And those people, for the duration of our extent there, were able to become those people that we didn't know. We were all like-minded. So we really clicked. And I think that that's where we sometimes struggle, is unlocking that comfort zone to relate with people and build relationships and unlock different aspects of our lives that can contribute to our overall happiness. We get stuck thinking that we are one mind, we are a one-minded way, we can do this, and we don't want anyone else to help us, like you said. And I think that that was an important lesson for you, for me, just hearing that now, is we get stuck thinking that we don't want to ask for help. We think that we can do everything ourselves. And let me be the first to tell you, if you are listening right now and you are thinking that you can do it all, whether it be in business, whether it be in your personal life, your social life, your dating life, you cannot do it all. You cannot do it all. Can I emphasize that? You cannot do it all. Take a step back, 3 big deep breaths. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And hear me while I say this to you. You cannot simply do it all. And one of the reasons why Patty and I brought in Eric as a co-founder of Coachington and Project Dream Mastery was because we realized we can't do it all. That was something that I had to get past when I started Coachington in 2015. I can't do it all. Never had enough time. And that was, and I say this to Eric all the time, bear with me, man. Bear with me. I am still getting past that comfort zone of allowing someone into my baby, and allowing someone into something I put so much work and effort into as my hobby, that it's hard to let someone into my business, to let someone in and be what I want them to be and take it to the next level with me. It was hard. And I am so grateful now that I realize that I can do things that I once didn't have the opportunity to do because I have someone else to help, someone else to partner with, someone else to collaborate with. And Patty, that is simply one of the greatest things I just took away from this episode as of current moment. You cannot keep on doing things by yourselves.
I completely agree. And up until a certain point, I thought that's what you should do. To be successful in business, in your life, you have to rely on yourself. I mean, you have to have a tough skin. It's up to you to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you, right? But there came a time when I think I was 16 or so, and my cousin, he's an entrepreneur. He's a well-known figure in Poland. He works with some of the biggest clients there, and he was running an incubator for startup companies. And he told me, look, if you want to get some good experience, come over, work with me for 2 weeks. So I went for it, right? Went over, lived with him, worked with him. And during that time, we were invited to a conference in Warsaw that we attended. One of the main guest speakers was a co-founder of Skype. So you can imagine how successful that person is. I mean, a multi-billion-dollar company, tremendous impact, especially then. I mean, Messenger didn't have video calls. Skype was the first one to do it. So it was a gigantic person, right? That did a lot of the stuff. And the one thing that I took away from him, most of all, he said that you can't do things by yourself. To be successful in life or in business, you have to ask for help, and you have to take on people that are smarter than you in other areas of expertise that you're not. I mean, we can't all be good in everything that we do. It's impossible. Life is too short to do that. We have to employ people with different expertise, experts at our own field, to help us. And that's the only way we can become successful. How does that imply in comfort zones? Ask for help. It might not always be easy. For me, it wasn't. And only when I crossed that boundary, I crossed that comfort zone, I've unlocked another piece of myself, another achievement, like in the games, level up. And from then, things changed as well in my business life.
It's really just level up. Yeah, level up your life. I can't believe you just said that's great. Yeah, level up your life. Unlock your comfort zones. And oh my goodness, it's great. That is just, whew. I'm just so happy that, when you sit down and you think about what you really want in your life, you start to find those moments that are worth unlocking your comfort zone for. And I actually want to jump to a different topic. I know that you're leading this today, but it's along the lines is dating life. A lot of us, we, especially now, I'm not going to say I'm above it. I've went on Tinder and Hinge and Bumble, all those dating apps, because one, it's not like it used to be where you could go to a bar, or you could go out with an event or extracurricular or hobby and meet people or your friends, new friends that, allow you to meet people in their circle. Now it's really become a time where you go on these dating apps. I think Facebook even has a dating app now, which is...
I've heard. I mean, okay.
Okay. I mean, it's one of the largest social media networks in the world. It makes sense. I mean, Zuck is in the top 10 for multi-billionaires. So it all makes sense. But these dating apps, I think sometimes, not even sometimes, they miss the mark. They miss the mark because a lot of these people, and it's not the dating app's fault. They're trying to make an environment that is truly for dating. I don't know about Tinder, but Bumble and Hinge are. They're trying to take it offline, meet people and truly get to know them. But we have to unlock our comfort zones. One, to go on dating apps, and two, to accept the fact we met someone from dating apps, and three, accept that you might just like that person more. For me, buddy, I had to do all three of those, and it's still really struggling because I think when you meet someone through a dating app or application, it's not authentic, it's not real, and it's really kind of hard to feel kind of normalized to that. It's hard to feel like I'm building that authentic relationship where, we laughed about something, or we had that coffee, or, someone, how do we tell people we met? Met on Tinder, met on Bumble. Everyone just kind of looks, oh, and even online dating, got these online dating sites. And you're just like, okay, you got eHarmony. I don't even know them off the top of my head, but I've seen countless commercials during COVID. Check out your dating sites because it's obviously prime time because everyone's home. So, honey, for me, and I'll come out of my comfort zone right now and just bear with me. For the longest time, I didn't date. I dated, but I didn't really truly date to find love or to find someone to marry. Because for the longest time, I was still, I think, just thinking about someone else that I previously had feelings for or was involved with, and trying to break down that comfort zone of finding someone that's not familiar, finding someone that I don't have all these memories with was tough. But when you unlock and you truly kind of get to that point where you're just like, well, hey, they're not coming back, one. And two, you say to yourself, you need to move on. Even though it hurts, it takes your heart out and rips it out. You got to go and break down that barrier to unlock your new comfort zone of finding someone that truly wants to get to know you and allow them to tear down those walls. So for me, it's been tough, but the best part is when you finally tear down that zone that is just right here, right on your heart, you allow someone else to take a little piece out of it to get to know. It's a really, I think, an applicable topic for this current period in our life, 2021 and 2020. People are struggling to find love, and they're doing anything to try to make it work. And maybe that's the one thing that we don't want to always admit, sleeping with people before we find who we really want to be with. You sleep with someone in the first date, it's not typically going to last. It's not a real relationship, but as part of loving deeply, you got to figure out what you truly want and unlock that comfort zone for yourself. So I'll leave that with you to figure that out. But Patty, I'll pass it back to you to figure out what's...
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I definitely want to talk about how it's great seeing how you developed by overcoming your own comfort zones. But I feel it's even better to see that your friend came out of his comfort zone. And I'm gonna say to you now, I feel like I've seen you go past your certain comfort zone. And so if you remember, we took a trip to New Zealand, and we came up with this brilliant idea to rent a camper van. And it wasn't what you might think, an American RV with shower and 2 bedrooms and a kitchen and, all that jazz.
Luxurious.
It was, let's just say, a normal 7-seater van that was converted with a bed, a stove, and a fridge. And that was a camper van for 2 weeks, right? And that was a place we slept, we ate. We talked, we came up with Project Dream Mastery Coachington, and we talked about it. It was kind of like creative incubator, as I would like to call it, looking back at it. But what I'm getting at is, I remember you were saying, Lucas, back in Sydney, man, I don't know if I'll be able to survive with another person for 2 weeks straight without any kind of privacy. I remember this so vividly. You were saying that, man, I don't know how I'm going to survive with you for 2 weeks straight. Even though we were best of friends at that time already, that was your comfort zone. And then fast forward to last year, we've spent countless hours in a car driving from, Washington, D.C. to Nashville, Tennessee, or, sleeping in tents or spending the same time in the same hotel room. We're doing everything together, basically, for a month. And I just felt it was amazing to see that transition in your life and how going above and beyond your comfort zone then has changed you as a person to who you are now.
You got to make the sacrifices for the people you love. And Patty, I do love you like a brother, my man. So You got to make the sacrifices for the people you love to have and seek the reward. The reward for us was an unbelievable trip, 23 states, 18 to 20 days. I can't remember how long it was, but 20 or 21 states and plus the District of Columbia. It was incredible. And we did that in New Zealand too. We were stuck in that van, 7 people. Yeah, that was tough for me because we were sleeping right next to each other. There was a pull out kind of bed we put over top. It was really, I mean, I played football my entire youthhood and childhood. It was something I grew to be able to be close with my buddies, be able to be close in the circle because we're all sweating and everything together. You know, it's just how it is. You grow up with that, it becomes normalized. So I was okay with that, but sleeping next to someone with their feet up in your face and the other way around for 11 days was tough. So when I said, hey, you know, why don't we do this whole trip and we get tents? I was trying to break down that comfort zone because I knew if I went and did this for 3 weeks, sleeping right next to two guys that stink and haven't showered because we're trying to do the whole nature thing, I would probably be in a completely different spot right now, maybe jail. Because it was really an unbelievably smelly trip. Because Patty, we did some epic stuff, but
oh yeah,
I think you just have to be comfortable being uncomfortable and allowing yourself to break down those comfort zones for the people that you love, and even for the people that you want in your life. So I think that man, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I didn't think about that, but no, I appreciate you bringing that up. And I've seen you.
Of course, I mean. That I felt like that was a huge change from seeing Lucas back in New Zealand to seeing Lucas then in United States. And it was a clear difference. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that small trip and you going out of that comfort zone has impacted your life on multiple levels, maybe some that you don't even know yet. But in a few years' time, we're going to look back and you like, you know what, that all started like back in that camper van in New Zealand. And it's just so rewarding going outside your comfort zones. You learn so much more about yourself to a point that you can actually define yourself. And this is what this whole episode is about. To truly define yourself, you have to go outside your comfort zones.
Yeah, man, it is amazing when you finally do. You find things, you seek out what you do not find. Or you find what you do not seek out. That's what it goes. You find what you do not seek out. And it really does come in full loop, full circle. Whenever you're going out and you're trying to defy, as we call it here at Coachington, is defy expectations, you end up finding something so much more outside of those expectations. And I think for us, man, is we were never trying to start a business. I mean, we were always trying to do something that we were passionate about and loved. And I think for many of our listeners and fans is they are stuck in the hobby mindset and they are comfortable with that hobby, that it's actually become uncomfortable and almost a comfort zone going outside of that to start the business aspect.
Yeah, completely.
So for us, man, I think we were stuck in that mindset. We had this Project Dream Mastery and Coachington as a hobby for almost a year before we truly said, hey, I mean, hell, I had it for 5 because I never wanted money from it. I wanted to do it because 1, is passionate, and 2, because I love helping other people. If you can bring that stuff and make a living out of it and help people and still also give out as much free advice and free wisdom and free knowledge as you can, as Travis Bell said in one of our episodes, if you give out 100% of your content, that's just something you should as a human. You should unlock and defy that comfort zone and give away everything. And as he put it very nicely, people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. You can put all your content out in the world, and I bet you any money that there's people that are still not going to use it. So you might as well do it. And if they use it, great. If they don't, you gave it to them for free, and that's their loss. So upgrading yourself is a big topic there, and unlocking yourself through that is also a comfort zone.
Yeah, but there are countless comfort zones that we had to cross through across our lives. I mean, from taking the first step as a little baby. That was a comfort zone where you just stayed on your little bum, rolled here and there, left and right, and that was it. Taking that first step was going outside your comfort zone. It had tremendous impact on your life afterwards, right? Same as everything that followed. I mean, going to play school, going to primary school, then secondary school, high school, and so on, going to college, university. That has been, for me, a big step out of a comfort zone. I mean, all of a sudden, out of a class of 25 students that I knew very well for 6 years of my life, I am being injected into this pool of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, thousands of different personalities, thousands of different opinions and views and cultures and all that jazz. It was a step outside of the comfort zone. And I learned that I learned to network with people. I learned to network, to talk with people that I don't know, to make connections, to express myself to someone that I don't know. And I feel like, I feel everybody can agree, all the listeners and myself including, that you're a great public speaker, Lucas.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But I feel like, of course, but I feel like you had to cross a certain boundary to become that. So I'm just wondering if you can recall the moment that it happened.
I've actually been told that numerous times, and obviously I don't let it get to my head, but it is something that I have grown to have a strength in. I've learned from the way I communicate, eliminating uhs and ums and yeah, do you know, or those things now I'm doing it. Now I've called them out. So I've learned from it. And I think the most important aspect is pausing, thinking through your thoughts and leveling up. So for me, I was involved quite a bit through my K through 12 days. Now I'm thinking about yays, ums, and all that now. So I'm just going to speak normally. But K through 12, I was really involved with everything. I loved, I got dog hair. I was really involved with everything, from the point of taking the moments that I really should be spending on homework or homework and spending it on other things. I still managed to get good grades, graduated in the top 10% or something of my class, or top 30% of my class. But I always wanted to do more. My mom and dad and all of our family friends always said that I'd be kissing babies' foreheads and shaking hands. That's what I was bound to do. And I wanted to run for president one day when I was a kid. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then I had all this plan about how I was going to become a senator by 28. And then I was going to be the youngest president to ever run. As I got older, I realized that wasn't something I necessarily wanted to do, but impact people's lives by doing something like this. And to answer your question, I spent a lot of time doing the wrong things before I did the right. We
learn our mistakes, right?
Yeah. I was involved with student union. I was a student union representative. So I would go to the school board and present for all of my high school. I was involved with student body in our middle school, or junior high, as they say here in the States. I did countless speaking engagements for other events, just one-offs. I was recently asked to do a event for not even work, but someone reached out to me on LinkedIn to speak at a professional engagement for I don't know what it was. It was just a few months ago, virtually, of course. I've been asked to do speaking engagements for universities on cyber related stuff. And it's not necessarily something I really want to do. I would do something like this. I love speaking engagements like this, but I think for me, man, becoming who I wanted to become and setting and pushing through those comfort zones was whenever I was told I needed to present in front of 600, 700 people when I was a junior in high school. And it became 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, speaking in front of 40 or 50 students in a classroom, speaking in front of thousands of students and different events, and speaking at financial literacy places for a credit union I helped co-found back in high school. That's when it became real for me. But like you said, man, you got to go through a lot of ups and downs to find where you want to be. And once you do, something like this begins. It's just the beginning.
Yeah, 100%. And this goes back to how we started this episode, saying how different do we do this PDM show right now than what it was in episode 1. I mean, again, we had to step out of our comfort zones. There was no way around it. We're doing it differently. Now, me saying that I feel now at peace talking to people, we have hundreds of listeners at this stage from 60 plus countries around the world.
Oh, more
which
than
is
that,
mind
yeah.
blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to thank every single one of our listeners, because, we do it for you. And without you, we wouldn't be doing it in the first place. So thank you. And going back to comfort zones, we had to cross milestones to get where we are now. And that was comfort zones in whatever we feel like. Essentially, we build it PDM from zero, and like your strong sides are different to my strong sides, but we had to go above what we feel comfortable with and do extra things to the best of our ability. That is, learn new things, read new things, to learn new things, to create PDM. And it is what it is now. And I feel like it's great. And I feel like our content is applicable. And I feel like even though we are speaking to potentially hundreds of listeners at this very minute, we are speaking to them as we are speaking just one-on-one. It's personal. It's between us and the speaker and the listener. And that took certain comfort zones to be crossed.
Still is.
It still is.
Can I ask you about the mirror effect? Are you familiar with the mirror effect?
I am not, but if you want to explain, then that'd be great.
I think it's a great way to simmer down our conversation, but also thank you. The mirror effect is when you look in the mirror and you see someone that you want to be, or you see yourself in a negative way. How many times do you look in the mirror and say, I need to do better. I need to be better. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I think. I am not good enough. I have so many defects. I am an awful person. I'm just terrible. Basically is what you're saying to yourself. How many times do you just get stuck in that mirror effect, that mirror, that thought process? It's wrong. It's wrong. So I want, out of today, if you could do me one thing, just do one favor for me. Stop getting stuck in the mirror effect. Stop looking in the mirror and trying to be someone that you aren't. You're perfect. You're one of a kind. You are amazing. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, hit us up. Project Dream Mastery coaching team, we're here for you, at least as best as we can be. There's a lot of folks that we've had the chance to impact, and we want you to be one of those that we impact. For the longest time, and Patty, you know this, that mirror effect applied to me, and not in all those ways, but at least one. I looked in the mirror and saw this giant guy, just big. I would say I'm a fatty. I was fat ass, I sometimes call myself. And I just kept eating, kept living my life day to day. Didn't let anyone affect that. I knew what I looked like, and I just accepted it. I didn't want to upgrade my life. How many times you just get stuck not upgrading your life? It wasn't until March 2020 I looked in that mirror and said, I'm done. I know we talked about this already, but I was done. You just got to take a step back and say you're done. Having that mirror effect, push past that comfort zone. And it's not easy. It is not easy. But once you do, you're going to unlock so much light at the other end of the tunnel. That light is going to be so bright and so shiny and so spectacular. And Patty and
I think that's
a
great way to wrap this up episode, because it is truly rewarding going out of your comfort zone. And it's a difficult journey. I mean, they're called comfort zones for a reason, right? We're comfy within them. It's uncomfortable to go even a step outside of it. And we must be okay with that. I mean, we have to be okay with that if we take on this mindset of being a lifestyle engineer, a lifestyle consultant. And I think with that, we can wrap this show. So let me give you some homework.
Oh boy, this is exciting. This is a good week.
There we go. First and foremost, do something, even a little, to go outside your comfort zone this week. It's different for everybody, so I can't specifically tell you what to do. Well, let me give you an example. Maybe ask that friend out on a date. Maybe it's a virtual date because you can't meet up right now during lockdowns, and that is okay too. It takes courage to ask that person out. Create content. If you feel like you would be a good content creator, you feel like you have something to say and people need this in their life, do it. Just do it. The Nike motto. Just do it. It's so applicable here right now. Put it out there. Meet new people. Network. Make new connection. Ask people for help. You won't be able to do stuff by yourself. You're not going to be successful by doing things by yourself. Whatever it may be, just step outside of your comfort line. Step outside of your comfort zone. Push the boundaries.
Yeah, incredible. And some of us, that might look like just a fear that we need to overcome. Patty, before we wrap up here, when we jumped out of a plane on my 21st birthday in Australia, my biggest fear to date at that period of time was heights. Let's just say now I don't have fear of heights. 15,000 feet. It was one of the highest that they had. There's others that are 12 or 13. This was 15,000. So do something that takes you beyond your fears, enables you to become a better version of yourself. Upgrade your life, as we see in episode 27. So with that, if you've not already, please make sure to review the show, subscribe, like, and share so that we can reach out more amazing listeners like you. All of our shows are available in both audio, video, and written form. So make sure to check out our website at projectdreammastery.com to access the full experience. Well, thank you so much for joining us here at Project Dream Mastery. We are super duper grateful for you, and we're grateful for every moment we get to spend with you. Whether it's in the future or whether it's today, we hope that we have made an impact on your life, and we hope that you take at least one thing from the day and apply it to your life. We know that we're not always perfect, and we don't expect to be. We want to be in your tribe. We want to be in your circle. So take the steps, follow us, and make things a reality. Defy, dream, love. And we'll see you on the next episode of Project Dream Mastery. Thanks. Talk to you soon.